in traditional media, the way it works is like we used to go on Fox. When you're in Fox, is like an ecosystem. You're in the green room. There's all the other conservatives that are around you, and then there's all these other people who work in conservative Inc., like conservative world. And you're not, if you can't dissent. And actually, the best, most rewarding part of our show is we're not connected to the system anymore. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like they're like, I don't really appreciate what you see, Trump's person or whatever. Some Trump flacky is like, you didn't say this about President Trump. I'm like, what are you going to do? You're going to take me off Fox? I don't care. I don't actually want to be on Fox. I'm like, I could be on my own show. But being disconnected from like the broader DC machine, it totally frees you up for conversation on Stop the Steal. Anything that's controversial. And I'd just be like, I think this is bullshit. I truly, 100% guys, I believe this is bullshit. And I see commentators out there who I know don't believe what they're saying and are saying it because they have to. They have to maintain their context. They have to maintain their
100%,
salary.
100%.
That's the corruption.
That's horrible.
That is it.
Yeah.
That is it.
And that's like a self-imposed corruption if you're doing that online.
Yes.
And some people are doing it online.
True.
And you guys are not. And I really appreciate it. I know that if I'm watching you guys, I'm getting like real opinions. Like I'm getting well thought out, informed opinions. And, and you guys are going to be cool to each other.
I mean, we do take it really seriously, and I think we take it this year even more so than ever. Our biggest podcast download and our biggest YouTube numbers last year were right when Russia invaded Ukraine. And, you talk about a high-stakes situation where it's very difficult to sort through all the propaganda to really figure out what's going on. And, we were trying our best to do that in real time. And the fact that so many people came to us to try to understand this conflict and what the U.S.'s role in it, what it should be, that really meant a lot, number one. But it also, I think, put on both of our shoulders like a real sense of, all right, we got to make sure we're on top of our shit. We got to read as much as we possibly can. We need to go back and look at like Russian nuclear doctrine and just go as deep as we possibly, are capable of on this topic. Because there are a lot of people who tell us we're it in terms of the news that they consume. So we have shifted to focusing, we still do like fun and stupid and silly topics or whatever and indulge whatever our little hobby horse interests are. But we've shifted the program somewhat to do more hard news because we care about it, because it's important, because there are a lot of people who are looking to us to understand what's going on in the world. And also because ultimately, if there's going to be an alternative to the, liars and propagandists at places like CNN and Fox News and MSNBC and some of the mainstream print outlets as well, you're going to have that kind of, serious coverage of hard news events that people feel like they can trust what you're presenting them. And listen, we say all the time, sometimes we're going to sometimes we're going to be wrong about something, we're going to predict something, it doesn't happen, whatever. That is going to happen 100% of the time, but what you can count on us for is we are always going to come back, we're going to correct it, we're going to own up to the mistakes, and we are trying from the beginning our very best to sort through what the truth of the situation is.
Yeah, every 6 months I do a monologue. I'm like, here's everything I got wrong. I was like, totally wrong about
People
this.
love it too.
Totally wrong about that. And I'm like, here was my thought process at the time. I'm like, I didn't think this was going to happen, but man, Ukraine has been a doozy. I'm like, we've said some controversial shit over the last couple of years. I've never experienced the level of pushback than going against the Ukraine narrative. That is like number one, the most controversial topic I have ever seen discussed yet in politics.
That my favorite moment of the beginning of the Ukraine conflict was Candace Owens having a Twitter battle with the New York Times.
Oh, yes.
Where the New York Times says to Candace Owens, like, where are you getting your information from that they're corrupt in Ukraine?
Yeah.
And she goes, your newspaper? And then she puts all these different links that show all the different stories from as recently as 2017 that talked about the immense corruption in Ukraine. Like, what the is wrong with you guys? You're supposed to be the New York Times!
This is one of the primary ways that we've been gaslit in this conflict is like, and it just came out, I don't know if you saw this, you probably did, that Zelensky fired a bunch of his cabinet officials over corruption. And it was like they were taking these fancy vacations to Europe. One of them was accused of basically overcharging the military for meals. And remember, I mean, the amount that we have sent to Ukraine and propping up not only their military, but their government, their economy, etc. When they're taking that money, that's like coming directly out of the U.S. taxpayer pocket. And nobody reported on any of this until Zelensky fired people. And then we were allowed to be like, yeah, there's some problems with corruption there, maybe a little bit. Maybe we should like worry a little bit about where the weapons are going and what exactly is happening there. But